I'm delighted to be here today with Brian Mullins, the CEO of Mind Foundry. Brian, perhaps you could tell us a little bit about yourself and the background to your arrival at Mind Foundry.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It's great to be here. I'm Brian Mullins, the CEO of Mind Foundry, and I'm originally from the United States. I've spent most of my career in venture-backed startups. And about a year ago, I met Professor Steve Roberts and Mike Osborne, the founders of Mind Foundry, and they were looking for a CEO to help them take their vision and scale it into a company that brought machine learning to the masses. I was really excited by their vision and the opportunity to come work with two professors who are legends in the field.
So artificial intelligence, AI, and ML, machine learning, are terms that are bandied around quite a bit these days. Can you explain them for us in lay terms?
It's easy to be confused by those terms because a lot of people define them in different ways. But the technical definition of artificial intelligence is really a category of technologies where machines can start to have an intelligence that's similar to the way that humans have an intelligence. And by extension of that, would be able to solve more and more general problems in a more profound way. So artificial intelligence is really a category of technologies. And now of those technologies, the core of artificial intelligence is a subset of technology that's called machine learning. And machine learning is where machines are able to look at data and things that have happened in the past, whether that's financial data or performance data or how well a machine is running based on the data that it creates. And it looks and it finds patterns in many, many dimensions. In fact, thousands of dimensions, more than people can even conceive, and find these very complex patterns that will help it make a prediction about how that system might perform in the future based on what it's learned. And those decisions can be put to use to improve the decisions that you make in your business.
Thank you. Can you describe the problem that Mind Foundry is trying to solve and how Mind Foundry provides that solution?
One of the problems with using machine learning in business today is that it's been historically brought to business in a very centralized way. In fact, you can draw parallels to how computing was first brought to business. We had central computing departments because we thought that the normal worker couldn't use computers in what they did every day, and you need to have specialists. The truth is, until we made it so easy to use a computer and so easy for everyone to have them, we didn't really unlock the power of computing for businesses. We're approaching machine learning in very much the same way. We've seen an industry trend of centralizing data science teams and machine learning teams, and the idea of bringing these technologies to business in a central and monolithic way. And we feel that we want to skip ahead. We're making products that make it easier to use machine learning, to use machine learning without having to be a data scientist, so that we can get it closer to the business. We can put it further into your organization and get it in the hands of people that would use tools like spreadsheets to make decisions with their work. Let's let them use machine learning to take the data in those spreadsheets and find patterns and make more informed decisions.
Can you tell us about the opportunity for Mind Foundry, both in the UK and globally?
When we look at the market for machine learning, and especially the difference between what it is today and what it will be in the future, we see this same kind of duality between approaching central data scientists and distributing the function throughout an organization. Instead of looking at the total addressable market as software for data scientists on data science teams, which is a very small number, we actually look at the other 99.9% of knowledge workers, people who use computers, people who work with information, that make decisions on a daily basis. We see that opportunity to be somewhere between the million users of a product like Tableau and the billion users of a product like Excel. If we can get these tools in the hands of people making decisions on a day-to-day basis all day long.
How are you going to bring to market and sell Mind Foundry's products, and why are the customers going to want to buy them?
At Mind Foundry, it's been really important with us to work with the customers very closely at every step along the way. And also because of the nature of the data that our customers use with our products, we have to get involved with more parts of the organization than just the people that will use it in a specific department. That's led us into an enterprise sale. And an enterprise sales motion. And that's been really important for us to sell in that manner because we learn so much and we develop really great relationships that help us to connect to the feedback that we need to make our products even better. Along the way, though, we've also learned how to reach people more directly, people who want to use it, who can learn from things like video curriculum or word of mouth even that they want to use this product. And even come to us and buy directly. And so I think as we grow, it's going to be continuing to invest in the enterprise sales, but looking for new opportunities with new versions of the product that reach a wider market with more direct sales motion as well.
What are the key goals for the business in the next 12 to 24 months?
For Mind Foundry, the next 12 to 24 months is about taking the products that we've already innovated on, working with the customers that we've developed, and expanding the way that they use those products throughout their business. By getting more people in those businesses, in more parts of the business, we'll start to get a better understanding of the end-to-end use case and the end-to-end potential for transforming decision-making at an operational level in business with these machine learning tools. So we're very focused on innovating around the workflow and the user experience in the products, where we think there's so much advantage to gain and so much to really give us a competitive edge on. A lot of the technology has unlocked the potential of these products, but now we're focused on making it so anyone can use them.
Sadly, we're in the middle of a pandemic, and the COVID-19 pandemic has had different impacts on different businesses. But can you tell us a bit about the impact it's having on your business and the strategy that you've adopted to deal with the situation to best advantage?
It's obvious that the pandemic has affected people across industries and certainly in many different ways. At Mind Foundry, we're fortunate to be a small, agile team that is full of highly technical people that are already very comfortable with working remotely and collaborating in remote environments on a regular basis. And so we were able to adapt the way that we develop our products and the way that we service and work with our customers very quickly. However, I think it's also worth pointing out that the way that customers buy products and which segments of which markets are investing in new technology has changed drastically. We've been able to adapt by working with some of our existing customers and working more deeply with them, and also moving into some additional sectors that are getting more mobility at this time. We've also had to look at some of our processes. Some of the way that enterprise software sales are done is changing dramatically with the new world that we live in. Things that were done in person, shaking hands, that cadence has changed, and we don't know when it's going to go back. So we've had to change the way that we think about sales enablement and outreach and connecting with enterprise customers, even more and more like the way that some businesses reach directly to end users. Those tools have helped us to get the sales motion back towards where we want it to be and really experiment into which new markets we'll enter. And we see it as an opportunity to make ourselves better and more efficient as well.
We were absolutely delighted when you took up the challenge to become the CEO of Mind Foundry and you relocated from the west coast of the USA here to Oxford. Can you tell us about how you found the technology environment in Oxford and the UK, especially compared to your experience on the West Coast?
The difference in the environment for technology in the West Coast of the US and in Oxford couldn't be any more different. But they do also share a common passion for making a difference and changing the world with the technologies and the things that we build. When I got the opportunity to come to Oxford, I jumped at it. It was the chance to work with professors that were you know, making new discoveries for decades in the field that were shaping the entire industry, and to come to Oxford and see this environment that is full of history and steeped in that history, while simultaneously on the cutting edge of research and innovation, is such an amazing experience. And I think that symbiosis creates some of the room for creativity in the people here that do so many amazing things at Mind Foundry, and all the amazing companies that are also in the ecosystem here and that we get to interact with.
What do you find are the most challenging and rewarding things about leading a spin-out company?
I think the most challenging part of leading a spin-out company is having to work with constrained resources when the vision is so clear of what you want and what you see, and you have such smart people around you that you can focus on empowering and helping to create that vision and that understanding of what needs to be done. But because of our perspective inwardly, it's much more clear to us than people outside of the organization. And so helping the people in the company to understand that that's okay, and that communicating the difference and is part of our responsibility to help us to build the allies that we need through the right investors that help us along the way, through the right partners and customers, that communicating the vision and telling the story is absolutely critical to the success. And I think that frustration of all of us knowing the world we want to create, but having to take the smaller steps along the way to get there, that's actually one of the hardest challenges.
What's your vision for Mind Foundry, the company?
One of the things I was most excited about coming to Mind Foundry is that my personal mission and why I've worked in technology and why I've started companies in the past is that I'm really focused on helping people overcome their personal limits, or doing more than the world thought that they could do, doing more than they thought that they could do. And when I met the founders, they had this insight that what they were creating, the technology that they were making, had this tremendous power to change the world, and that what they saw was that it was only available to a small number of people, only large companies, only governments. It was out of the reach of most people, and they saw that as a potential problem where some of the worst things in the world might get worse, and we won't notice it because we'll have this kind of separation between the people who have machine learning and use it regularly and the people who don't. And we'll have this kind of unseen gap between what those people are capable of. And they really identified that the only way to overcome that, that might happen 10 years down the road, was that if today they started making something that empowered people directly, and the language that they used about helping people, empowering people to partner with AI and to be able to accomplish more and reach their potential, was exactly the way that I thought about helping people to remove their limits. And so my vision is for us to continue that journey, to make products that allow more people to use these tools all day long, so that we not only do we never have this situation of a great divide between people who have these technologies and people who don't, but that everyone, 8 billion people on the planet, can use them to solve problems every day and solve the most important problems in the world and really make it a better place. And that's, you know, when it comes down to it, that's what we're doing in Mind Foundry. That's why we're making machine learning that anyone in your business could use. It's because we want it so that anyone could use it.
Brian, thanks very much for sharing your time, your excitement, and your hopes and aspirations for Mind Foundry. We wish you all the best and look forward to exciting news from Mind Foundry in the future.
Thank you so much. It's great to be here.